Greetings. Welcome to South Fulton 101, the monthly webinar series for the city of South Fulton. Excited to start today's inaugural episode where we will focus on the Customer Response Center and 311 self-service tools. I am Odie Donald, the city manager for the city of South Fulton, and I am excited to introduce this series where we are committed to enhancing communication outreach and service to the 100,000 residents and 1,800 plus businesses in the city of South Fulton. The goal of this effort is to educate our residents on the array of services available to them, and we're committed to making sure that these outreach efforts match the passion and directives of our 8-person city council, who is ensuring that we are focused on letting residents know exactly what is available through Georgia's newest city. For those who may not know about the city of South Fulton, I wanted to share a snapshot of our history and the direction that we're going in. Our city was chartered on May 1st of 2017. Our government is a little bit different than some that many people are used to. We have a council manager form of government in which our 8 elected officials, led by the chair of the council, the mayor, the Honorable William Bill Edwards, and the 7 district council members provide governance on behalf of our 100,000 residents, which are carried out on the administrative side, which is convened by the city manager, myself, Odie Donald. Our city has over 100,000 people. We are more than 85 square miles, and currently we have more than 1,700 registered businesses. We have 3 police precincts, 10 fire stations, and 7 districts that range from the old National Corridor, where there are districts 5, 6, and 7. We also have District 3, which is usually referred to as the Welcome All Park area, which also includes Roosevelt Highway. And we have one of the crown jewels of the city, District 2, which includes Butner Road and a small commercial area, as well as Wolf Creek Library. We have a very diverse center of the city, District 4, Cedar Grove, and District 1, Cascade Road, which abuts Fulton Industrial Boulevard. And so this diverse city is governed and managed by a variety of very diverse and unique individuals that come from all of the various parts of the city with a myriad of different political and professional backgrounds. William Bill Edwards, the honorable mayor of the city, the first ever mayor, is a former commissioner from Fulton County, where he served over 14 years and was the lone commissioner that was providing oversight to what is now the South Fulton, the city of South Fulton, but was once known as the Special Services District under Fulton County. And so these 8 electeds oversee a variety of activities in the city, including governance, policy making, the delivery of proclamations and special services, as well as finalizing and adopting the city's budget. As a new city, not quite 2 years old, we have experienced a variety of opportunities and issues related to our growth. As we have taken on service delivery and successfully transitioned all municipal services from the county, we have grown quite a bit in our staffing, as well as in our needs to communicate with our residents. And so as we have tried to manage engagement, one of the key areas is tracking issues. And so we have really looked at 3 various issues that we wanted to address and provide an innovative solution, which is our customer response system to solve those problems. I think we started off having multiple phone lines and different telephone numbers, multiple email addresses, some of which that weren't connected to our staff, and really trying to pass out information, only having the tool of word of mouth. And so we decided to use a 3-pronged approach to ensure that our residents are not only informed, but have access to the city. we've identified a variety of opportunities for improvement. We kind of started with a simple question: what is currently not working in the city? And our second step was creating a variety of reliable processes to make sure that we ensure we've tested and have some type of efficient solution and process to make sure that whatever issues aren't working are resolved in real time. As a follow-up, we then implement those solutions to make sure that these tested methods are available and efficient for our end user. One of the key solutions to our customer service issues has actually come out of one of our most challenging transitions, and that is of public works and transportation. For years, the county operated transportation and public works services on behalf of the city. And while the county did a really good job of delivering those services, what we have learned is that cities, municipalities, local areas really have an excellent opportunity to deliver services because they're a little closer to the ground. As such, we wanted to change our model just a little bit from what the county did. So instead of transitioning over with the same service model, the council and our administrative staff jointly decided to use Jacobs, a renowned partner in the transportation industry nationwide. Together, we partnered with Jacobs. We partnered with C-Click Fix, which is an app that provides municipal services and tracking and data collection. Combining those two, as well as a 24/7 customer-driven response center, we now have COSF 311 CRC, which is our hashtag and overall solution for solving transportation and city services problems. Today, I am excited to provide you this overview, leveraging 3 key partners in service delivery. Our program and performance manager, Ms. Joy Marshall, who oversees the implementation of all data-driven activities for the city, including our customer response center, in partnership with Jacobs, with Jacobs as well as C-Click Fix. These 3 and our panelists today, Ms. Marshall, Mr. Shively, as well as Ms. Lipsy, will kind of dive into what the city's issues were, how we jointly came up with a solution, and how we're implementing this solution today on behalf of our residents. With that, I'll turn it over to Ms. Marshall.
Thank you, City Manager Donald, for that introduction. I am Joy Marshall, the Programs and Performance Administrator for the City of South Fulton, and I have had the pleasure of working with our partners, C-Click Fix, as well as Jacobs Call Center, to roll out and implement our first mobile application for the city, as well as the first 24-hour call center. So I'm going to be talking with Johnny Shively with C-Click Fix, as well as Ms. Lipsy with Jacobs Call Center, about what that process looked like for us as a city. Johnny, welcome.
Thanks so much, Joy. So, right, as Joy mentioned, my name is Johnny Shively. I'm a partnership manager here at C-Click Fix. And what everyone knows about C-Click Fix is that it's a great tool for residents to submit issues and also to follow up on the status of those requests. What people don't always know is that we also provide a lot of tools for city staff to be getting more work done faster. So we've been working with Joy and her team to get things set up behind the scenes so that folks in the city of South Fulton have what they need to take care of requests in a way that makes sense for their workflow.
Right. So, Johnny, I know we've been working together for quite a while now, so it's been a lot of hard work, a lot of long days and nights, but can you talk a little bit about how C-Click Fix has helped South Fulton, as well as some of the other cities that you work with?
Yeah, absolutely, Joy. So I think of C-Click Fix as being useful in really 3 major ways. So first, C-Click Fix, like I mentioned, makes it super easy for residents to stay in touch with the city. We provide tools that allow residents to submit issues to the city And to stay in touch with those issues, we allow the city to send out notifications to residents, and we provide a great app that allows folks to sort of have a one-stop shop for citizen engagement. A second way, like I mentioned, is we make it super easy for the city of South Fulton to get more done faster. So we provide some great behind-the-scenes tools for your staff to know exactly who's responsible for an issue and exactly what that workflow should look like. And finally, we provide some great tools for data analysis. So we make it easy for city staff to look at reports as they're coming in and see longer term trends that helps the city to make better long-term decisions. So I think that's what some of the hard work has been going toward, and I really hope that it makes it easier to get things fixed in South Fulton in the long run.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad you mentioned the data analysis part, because we're going to take a quick look later on in the presentation at our dashboard that we created for the city manager's report, which has a lot of that great information that shows where we are and in the process and how quickly or how well we're performing. As far as the challenges that we might face as a new city with a new mobile application tool for the residents, can you talk about some of the challenges that you've seen over the process of dealing and working with the city of South Fulton, but as well as some of your other clients?
Yeah, no problem. So, we really did a lot of work, your team and mine, to get things set up in the beginning so that we can front load some of those questions and make sure that the city of South Fulton can hit the ground running with this platform. But of course, I think it always takes some time for folks to get up to speed when there's a new system that goes into place. So on the citizen side, it's probably going to take some time for folks in town to get used to the platform and how to use it. Folks listening to this webinar can help that process by sharing C-Click-Fix with their neighbors and getting the word out about the platform. And then on the city side, with any city staff, it's going to take some time for folks to get used to the workflow and the technology. So my guess is that it will probably take some time for things like due dates and expectations around the time it will take for things to get fixed to sort of settle. But what I see is that cities adapt pretty quickly to the C-Click-Fix workflow. So, and with all the hard work you guys are doing, I'm sure it won't take too long.
Oh, it hasn't taken long at all. I'm actually looking in the system right now, and we have over 400 registered users, which is really amazing for the short period of time since we've been online with the application. But we've also resolved over 1,100 issues since we've gone live. So that's a really, really big deal. And our residents are extremely engaged, so they're asking a lot of questions about C-Click-Fix. They're obviously using the application, and we are also closing and resolving a lot of these issues in a timely manner. So I'm really excited about that. I think the last thing I want to talk to you about, Johnny, is one of the key things that you and your partner, Amanda Parr, who worked with us also on this implementation process, is that the way C-Click-Fix looks for us today is not the way it's going to look 6 months from now. And can you just talk about what that evolution looks like over time as we continue to actively engage our residents and identify other areas of improvement?
Yeah, no problem, Joy. So what I love about what you just said is I think a lot of people call that a growth mindset, right? So the idea is that you guys are piloting this new tool, C-Click-Fix, and you have it set up right now in the way that you think is going to be most effective. But 6 months down the road, you're going to find out things that you've set up in the workflow that can be better because a process can always improve. And so 6 months from now, it might mean tweaks to some of the service request categories that residents are able to use. It might relate to the timeline that you're using to get things closed. It might be the way that C-Click-Fix is set up on the website. I think what will worry me more is if no changes were going to happen down the road, because that means that you guys weren't investigating the ways that you could make the system the best that it's going to be. So in 6 months, you're totally right to say that things will probably look a little different than they do now. And to me, that's a huge sign that your team is being active about making the best tool possible.
Awesome. Yeah, I will tell you that there are changes being made all the time. I have a list of requests to change certain things within the system, from categories. We're adding new personnel. We've been having some community engagement sessions, and I've been getting a lot of questions about how the app works and why can't we do certain things a certain way. And so there's a lot of research and feedback coming in on what can make this thing better for the city. So I'm really excited about that. One of the things I want to do on this webinar is make sure we do a quick demo and show the residents how easy it is to not only download the application onto their smartphones, but how easy it is to submit a request and then track it. So thank you for that. And I'm going to go ahead and we can jump right into a demo here. So let's talk about how to submit your request using the mobile application to the City of South Fulton. So once you've downloaded the mobile CClickFix app onto your smartphone, instead of a profile, you would go ahead and just click the icon on your phone. That'll take you to a home page for the City of South Fulton. You would select the plus button in the middle lower half of your screen. You would be able to add a photo to your request. So in this instance, we're going to go ahead and add a pothole image that I downloaded from offline. And then we're going to go ahead and enter the exact location of where the issue that we're reporting on is. I'm going to use our mini precinct because it's a default in our system. And then I'll select next. Now all of the available categories for the City of South Fulton will populate. If you enter an address that is not within the City of South Fulton, it will take you to an option that says post to neighbors. And so if that happens, please go back one step by selecting location and re-enter the correct address. So in categories, you don't have to scroll through the entire list. You may also just type in a search word. And so we know we're reporting on a pothole, so I'm going to go ahead and type pothole. And there you have it. It's populated there. We'll select it, and it advances us to our next screen. Here is where you have an option to enter a little bit more detail about where this pothole is, what's going on with it. And so for this demo, we'll just do something very generic and say large pothole at intersection of Landmark Way and X or C Street. And then we'll hit apply. We provide our name. Provide a phone number. And then we will provide an email address. And so it's really important to leave this contact information for a couple of reasons. One, if we have additional concerns or questions, we have a way to reach out to you. And the second is, through the system, as updates are being made and comments are being added to your specific request, you will begin to receive notices about that so that you can also monitor and track where we are in the process of resolving your issue. And lastly, you have an option to hide your identity from public view, keeping in mind that this tool is a public-facing tool. So many of the requests are public and can be viewed and tracked by other viewers and users of the system. And so once you make your decision there, you would press submit, and then your request is entered into a queue assigned to the appropriate department within the City of South Fulton, and the process to resolve. So now we're going to move into our 24-hour call center and talk to Ivelisse Lipsy. She's our operations manager over at Jacobs Contact Center, and she manages the 24-hour call center that we've launched. It's the Citizens Response Center. Welcome, Ivelisse.
Thank you, Joy.
So why don't you just give a little bit of your background, and then we'll jump right into the work that you've been doing with the City of South Fulton.
Okay, well, thank you for that introduction, Joy. As Joy mentioned, my name is Ivelisse Lipsy, and I am the operations manager for the Jacobs Contact Center. We have been providing world-class customer service for the last, I want to say, 15 years. Currently, we provide support to close to 1 million citizens, residents throughout the United States by providing 24/7 live coverage. So at any time of the day regarding any situation. There's one number that you can call to get all of your city needs, questions, support, assistance needed. So we do consider ourselves part of the South Fulton team by being an extension and a contact resource for the citizens to always reach a live representative and be able to voice their concerns or their issues with a live representative versus having to try to look for information online. We're also here to help them navigate through the website and the new app that we are now promoting, so that they now have multiple resources. They can pick up a phone and dial a phone number. They can use a mobile app. They have web access to submit the request themselves. So it just provides a more close-knit team to be present for the citizens' needs.
Absolutely. And I think it's key to let the residents know as they're listening to this webinar that the call center works in conjunction with the mobile application. So when you contact the call center, they're actually entering your issue or your comments or your inquiries into the CClickFix app. And it's assigned a request number, and we're also tracking and monitoring the calls. And so this has been a really great solution to one of the problems that we've had with multiple phone lines and multiple email addresses. Now everything is starting to be a lot more streamlined and centralized, and routing through one tool, one system. And whether you are submitting requests on the mobile app, or you're calling the Citizen Response Center, all of your issues and comments are being tracked the same way. So I think that's a really great thing to acknowledge for the residents, so they understand that we are paying attention to what's going on. Ivory, can you talk about what this process has been like for your staff and working with the City of South Fulton and just implementing this thing so quickly?
Yeah, so we were very lucky to have, when we partnered with South Fulton, some of the issues we've had in the past, or I should say mishaps we've had in the past, is partnering up to provide contact support for cities. Sometimes the cities aren't always as prepared with their knowledge base. So, and what I mean by that is you've got city employees who've been with the city 5, 10, 15 years, and all their processes are in their head, right? They know what they're doing because they do it day in and day out. And here we are stepping in to become a part of their team. And so a lot of things, day-by-day things, aren't necessarily documented. They're not necessarily resourced correctly so that anybody can have access to it. When partnering up with South Fulton, their team was very aware of what their process and procedures are, and were able to successfully put that in a format and provide it to the city, to the contact center, so that we can upload it into our resources, and our live representatives have the resources at the tip of their hand and can make sure that they follow the same process that any other city employee has been doing for years on end. What we wanted to do in this implementation is make sure that the transition from the city staff taking it on themselves to the contact center was seamless to you all as citizens. We didn't want there to be any interruption of, what happened to what I used to do. We are not changing what they used to get. We are just working with the South Fulton team to improve that. And so during the implementation, that was a very big highlight for the Jacobs team on our end, is how well prepared, structured, and organized the South Fulton team was, and how ready they were to work with us to collaborate and put together the knowledge base that we currently use today to answer any concerns, questions, any feedback that we get from the citizens. We now have it and can share it with them, and also with the South Fulton team.
Yeah. That's a great point, Ivelise. I want to note that we brought the call center online on January 28th.
That is correct.
We did our report out for the month of January, obviously with limited data. It was only 4 days remain in the month. You all had already taken, I think, 155 calls for us within that short period of time. So I think that's indicative to the point that you just made earlier, that you wanted to make sure that it was a seamless transition, right, for the residents. They're calling a new number, but they're getting the same type of service. And the fact that 155 of our residents reached out in that first 4 days of launch, I think is a really big deal for the city, and how well we work to communicate that. So thank you for your help there. Can you talk about the call center and maybe give us a brief scenario of what that process looks like? We're dialing this 470-552-4311 number, and can you just give me a kind of a snapshot into what a call looks like that you guys have experienced since working with the city of South Fulton?
Sure, we definitely can. A day in the life of one of our representatives. As Joy said, we will get the call in on the 4311 line, and we announce ourselves as South Fulton. We want to thank you for calling and collect your information. It is key that we attempt to collect your information just in case there's any follow-up needed or any callback needed from the citizen to complete your request. Now, again, that's not always necessary. There are some situations where a caller just needs to call and find out what the address is to the courthouse because they have a court date that they need to attend to. And so our representatives are able to look up that information, provide it to the caller, and instead of them having to research it, they get the information instantly, and the call is then completed. We will still turn around and enter that request into CQuickFix because we also want to track the workload. We want to track what the citizens are calling in about, what are our top departments that get calls on a daily basis, a monthly basis. We want to start collecting that data by entering in the request for each one. Other things that can happen or that we can get calls about, that we have get calls about, is anytime there's an event that's going on in the city. Maybe for Valentine's Day there was a daddy-daughter dance that was going on. One of the rec centers was providing that, and so we were able to get all the information that was pertaining to that event and give that to the caller so that they were better prepared. And so
that's a great and key point for the residents to hear, that all of the folks who are participating on this webinar. The call center is not, the Citizens Response Center is a place where you can call and get any information that you need about the city of South Fulton. So, like I already said earlier, people are calling about their court dates. Right? People are calling to get in contact with our elected officials. People are calling to get in contact with other staff members within the city of South Fulton. But they're also calling about events, and other happenings in and around the city. And the call center is able and equipped with the information to be able to respond to those questions. They are taking complaints. They're taking concerns. They're answering other questions about all things related to the operations of our city. So please keep that in mind. That is a number that is going to be beneficial to us at every turn. So please make sure that, we'll do it again at the end of the webinar, but make sure that that number is locked into your phones and that you're using it regularly when you have questions about what's going on with the city of South Fulton.
And also to add to that for you, Joy, even if there's, we do run into situations where the citizen is just lost on who handles this. And so not all of the calls that we handle are directly within the scope of the work of the city of Fulton. There may be outside counties, outside resources that would actually handle their immediate request. And so, again, as part of the support, whether or not we're actually going to be doing any work or not, part part of our world-class customer service is to get you to the place where you need to go. So if you find yourself lost, you can't find the information on your own, please always know that if you reach out to the contact center, we will do our best to find that information for you and shave a few seconds off of your day just by getting you that information instead of you having to try to, scratch your brain looking for it yourself. So we're not just going to handle things or take calls on issues that we handle in-house. We also have resources that reference any outside agencies so that, again, we become a one-stop shop for the citizens of South Fulton.
So that's awesome. So just as a reminder to the listeners and the viewers, we launched the Citizen Response Center on January 28th. So we're officially, we can say, a month in with this new tool, and we're excited about it. The Citizen Response Center operates 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So that means inclement weather, when the city's closed, they're open.
That is correct.
Receiving calls on it. They work on holidays, so when we're off celebrating, they are answering calls on behalf of our residents. And so I think that's a really big deal for us, and we should be excited to celebrate that. It was awesome. All right, so that was some really good information that we received from our partners, as well as the overview at the beginning by our city manager. And I saw this quote, and I just thought it was applicable, right? So great things are done by a series of small things brought together. And I think that's indicative of what we're doing here today and what we have been doing over the past several months with partnering with the folks at C-Click-Fix and the folks over at Jacob, and of course our amazing staff at the City of South Fulton, to ensure that we have some viable products and tools to showcase to the city residents. Before we move on, I definitely want to talk about some of the data that comes out of the system. So we're talking about all this work that we're doing as a city and all this partnering that we're doing and how this is great for the residents. And I really want to just show you very briefly what we've been doing to report out on all of this great work. So this summary dashboard is actually a duplicate of what we submitted in the city manager's report for January. And these numbers are the first set of numbers that have come out of the system as an official report since all of the departments have been added into the launch of the applications. And so what you see here is the number of requests open through January 31st of 2019. And so obviously, if you're looking and reading this dashboard, you can tell there's some yield signs that basically say we still have some work to do, but we are extremely proud of where we are in the amount of time that we've had to get familiar with the system and this new process, and also getting our residents engaged. The other thing that I'd like to point out is I ran the numbers through February 28th, specifically for this webinar, because I wanted to make sure that you all could see into where we are as far as performance and if we're getting better or worse. And what this shows is that we are absolutely getting better. So we've had a 194% increase in the number of requests open in the system in the last 30 days since the last time we reported out, which was January 31st. We've had a 267% increase in the number of requests closed in the system. So that's really exciting. And then our average time to close a request that's come through the system has decreased 28%. So it's down from 9 days just as of January 31st to 6.5 days as of February 28th. And of course, the average time to acknowledge a request that's come into the city is also down by a great deal, 31%. So it's down from 3.9 days to 2.7 days. And so I definitely wanted to highlight that. That speaks to not only the way the citizens are engaging with the application, but also to how our staff is acknowledging and resolving matters in a very timely fashion. And so I definitely want to give a kudos out to the staff and the entire team who's working very diligently to make sure that we are responding to our citizen request. So this testimonial, we definitely couldn't move on without letting you hear some of the things that has been said about this application in particular, this mobile app. A couple of weeks ago at our city council meeting, Dr. Pennon Lockhart stood up and he spoke to council and our mayor, and he made this statement saying, that he was really happy with the tool and that it was actually working and that we were responsive. So we wanted to just shed some light on some of the positive feedback that we've been given about this new tool that we have for the city of South Fulton. So I'm really, really excited about that. And then, of course, we want to just shed some light on other opportunities and how we're thinking about doing business and taking care of our citizens and other stakeholders in the city. We want to create an environment where there's continuous improvement, and we do that by challenging ourselves. And we challenge ourselves by asking questions all the time, questions about how we get better at doing the job, right? How do we give citizens a better access to the resources that we're trying to provide, and how do we do so in an efficient and effective way? And of course, how do we maintain citizen and employee trust, right? So we want to provide information in a timely fashion. We want to be able to provide information about all of the great work that's going on, but also some of the areas where we need to improve. And so that's how we become a more transparent government. And we're really looking to the information that's coming out of this tool, the public portions of this tool, to make sure that we are providing transparent services for our government. All right, so we can't get off of this webinar without asking you all to do a couple of things. And the first thing is, if you have not already done so, please download the CClickFix app and become what we call a civic superhero. You can start reporting issues immediately. So if you have an iPhone, there is a link for you to click on where you can download the CClickFix app, or if you have an Android, there's a different link for that. So please make sure you download the CClickFix app today. Also, make note of our 24-hour Citizen Response Center. That number is 470-552-4311. This gives you an opportunity to connect with your city, to get involved, and you can also get results 24 hours a day, and that's really important to us. So please make a note of this phone number. Now, this is the part of the webinar where we open up the floor for questions and comments and other feedback. So on your screen, you have a comment box. So go ahead and type in any questions or comments that you may have, and we're going to do our best to answer a few. And for the sake of time, I just want you all to be aware that on an ongoing basis, we will be accepting questions and comments through the playbacks of this webinar, and we will develop a frequently asked questions document to be published on our website because of it. So please don't be shy. Go ahead and submit your questions. All right, so there we go. All right, so the first question: what if my request is closed and I'm not happy with the service? How do I reopen it or let the city know that the problem still isn't fixed? That's a great question. So the first thing is you cannot reopen requests in the system. We have disabled that function temporarily because we are working to refine some things in the system. But what you can do now is reopen a new case, right? So you would resubmit the question, reference your old request number that was given to you the first time, and just make it known. You can also call the 24-hour Citizen Response Center number and reference your request number and let them know that you are not satisfied with the service that was provided. You do not think that it should have been closed, and we will do an assessment and investigate as to whether it needs to be reopened. And definitely try to satisfy the customer. We have another question. How will a resident know if a request is being closed out early, on time, or if it's taking too long according to whatever standards the city has created? I think that's a really great question. I think I understand what they're asking. So we do not publish our internal SLAs at this time. And one of the reasons that we're not doing that right now is because we are still in the very early stages of launching our system and setting everything up on the back end. So we want to make sure that before we publish anything to the resident, that it's set in stone and it's accurate. Right now, this is still a little bit of discovery for us. So where you have service level agreements and KPIs assigned to specific categories within the system, there is a great chance that during this first few months of assessing the system and how it works in relation to the amount of resources we have, et cetera, that we may change those. And so right now, you won't know, but we do look to publishing something in the near future that will be where you will be able to reference to answer that question. Oh, great. Someone says, I really like the app, but their question is, I use the website more than I use the application, and the process is a little different online than from my phone. Why is that, and can they be the same? So the mobile application is a little different than the website, and it's two steps that are kind of reversed. They're flipped. So if you access the CClickFix application online through our website, you will be, the first screen that you see will be the categories. When you access the application from your mobile phone, the first screen you see is the address screen. So I'm not sure that we can flip those and make them mirror each other, but I can definitely take some time and do a little bit of research and work with our partners to find out if that's something that can happen and be changed. Someone says, you said live operators, but when I called the 24-hour number, I got a recording. How do I reach a real person? That's a good question. So one thing to note about contacting the 24-hour Citizen Response Center is the first thing that you will hear is a message acknowledging or basically notifying you that you have reached the City of South Fulton's 24-hour Citizen Response Center. I don't believe that message is longer than 30 seconds. So if you hang on just a few more seconds, a live operator will always pick up. So give it a little bit of time. There is a recording, but that recording is just to notify you, the caller, that they have indeed reached the City of South Fulton. I think we have time for one or two more. So let's see. I see that code enforcement has zones listed in the categories. How do I know what zone I'm in? Another really great question. So we have not published a what zone am I in interactive map just yet. However, when you enter your address into the CClickFix application, it will automatically tag your zone. So if you're making a request to the code enforcement officers, when you enter your address, you will see that Zone 4 or Zone 5 will populate in the system for you. And then that way we can track it on the back end. We are working really, really hard and diligently with our GIS team to make sure that we have more tools available for our residents to just go online, type in their address, and they can find out what district, what zone that they're in. So really good question. And I'll close it out with this last question. It's how do I make recommendations for more categories to be added to the mobile application? Oh, well, you can do that. One way is submitting it through this webinar comments and questions portion. So definitely go ahead and submit that way. You can call, again, the 24-hour Citizen Response Center and make those suggestions and recommendations to an actual operator online. And I think those will be the best ways to get information to us. Also, you know, council meetings, all of our town halls, all of our public engagement opportunities, please speak up and let us know what you see that we are doing really, really well. And of course, those areas where you want to see us get better. So keep putting your questions in. We are going to continue to answer them, but we'll answer them offline, and we will publish a frequently asked questions document as well as publishing the webinars on an ongoing basis. So I did want to say that I really want you guys to think about what to look for and expect in the future from City of South Fulton regarding this particular mobile application and any call center engagements. Obviously, we're going to be looking to enhance at all levels. We are definitely going to continue improvement on our processes and, of course, the performance side. We are looking at refining the categories within the application for ease of access for our users. We're definitely on a daily basis refining the call center's knowledge base that I believe spoke to earlier, and that's to ensure that first contact resolution is possible. And so we have to make sure that they are gauged with the with the appropriate knowledge to be able to do so. And then, of course, more feedback from the customers and city stakeholders to help us identify areas of improvement. I can't stress that enough. And then we are going to be having more and more webinars. So as City Manager mentioned earlier, the South Fulton 101 series will air monthly. This is going to, there'll be a new episode every first Saturday of each month that will air at noon Eastern Standard Time. So be sure to tune in. If you've signed up for this webinar, you will get automatic notifications about the upcoming sessions and their topics. So please be on the lookout for that. Okay, so now we're going to allow our panelists to have some closing words, and then we'll turn it back over to our City Manager, Mr. Donald.
Yeah, that sounds great. And Joy, maybe I'll just add one last piece, which is what a great experience it's been to work with your team. So I work with almost 100, actually probably a few more than 100 cities and counties and organizations around the country right now. And something that I feel strongly is, the success of C-Click-Fix really depends on how hard the team behind it is willing to work. And it's been clear from day one that you and your staff are so enthusiastic about this and are thinking hard about how to make it the best experience possible for residents. So it's really been a great process, and thanks for being such an enthusiastic partner.
Oh, amazing. Thank you for saying that. We definitely were excited about bringing you all on board. And so to get through the process and make sure that we were able to lift a tool that was actually going to work for not just us internally to track and monitor and manage our performance, but also something that was going to be really great for the residents. And I think we're there. We're getting a lot of really good feedback, as well as some comments about things that could improve, but that's all a part of the process. So thank you for acknowledging the work. I do appreciate that.
Okay, well, thank you again for allowing me to participate. Our goal here at the contact center is to provide world-class customer service. And I believe with all the tools we have in place and the team that we are partnering with, both C-Click-Fix and the City of South Fulton, we are going to be very successful for you all as citizens. One of the main things that I want you to walk away from is, as Joy explained earlier, we are here 24/7. So when the weather is bad, as we know, weather down in our area can be very brutal sometimes, where people are snowed in, city offices are closed. We are here to provide any feedback or any support that you need if you're in an area that is snowed in, or if you need to know what's going on in the city if you are somewhere that's isolated. So please feel free to save that number as a contact in your cell phone, put it on a sticky on your whiteboard, but just know that we are here to provide support. And so far, by partnering up with South Fulton and C-Click-Fix, I think it's going to be a service that you guys are going to really enjoy, and we look forward to hearing any feedback to help us continue to improve our services that you may have.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ivelisse. I really appreciate your partnership in making sure that the City of South Fulton is operating at its highest capacity. So I look forward to continue to work with you and your team. And thank you for participating on this webinar.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Well, I'll tell you, I am extremely thankful for having our partners from Jacobs, as well as C-Click-Fix, as well as our own Ms. Marshall from our programs and performance team. This is an exciting time for the City of South Fulton, and we are excited to share all of the happenings taking place in the city with our residents. While this was our first offering, I encourage you to stay tuned in to the city through our newsletter, our social media channels, and our monthly installment of South Fulton 101. Our next installment will actually be South Fulton 101. This effort will really highlight all of our operational activities and give our residents insights into what services we do deliver and who we partner with to deliver additional services throughout the city. Excited to bring you South Fulton 101, and we look forward to sharing this and other episodes with you soon.